All right, 98 challengers, welcome back. Video number 3. Okay, so remember, macros: protein, carbs, fat. I have these numbers wrote down. Carb yields 4 calories, fat yields 9 calories, protein yields 4. Okay, so hang on to that on your notebook. Okay, so now the average American diet, okay, when we're talking about how the average American eats is here. All right, so kind of a representation here to kind of show you. The average American diet has carbohydrates very high, fat intake is high, and our protein intake is typically very low. All right, so I want you guys to think about a couple different food items. So think about like a Big Mac. All right, so a Big Mac yields a lot of carbs, a lot of fat, and the protein intake is usually very low. Okay, regardless of how delicious you may think it is. Okay, this is basically what it looks like. Now, if we take a healthy item, okay, with similar numbers like this, and we make this exact same chart, all right, it still kind of has the same response to the body. Okay, so having high carbs, high fat, and even if they're healthy fats, okay, everybody will always want to like kind of argue on this. But even if they're healthy fats, healthy carbs, and low protein, you still get this same ratio. Okay, so the goal is not to do this. This is what causes steady weight gain over a long course of time. So here's an example. Bananas are usually high in carbohydrates, okay, low protein. People usually take them, they put peanut butter with them, which is high in fat, okay, and very low in protein, and they usually put it on a piece of bread, and they'll put honey with it, and all kinds of things like that, okay? So you're talking lots of carbs, lots of fat, very low protein, because the only protein source you're really looking at is the bread and the peanut butter. So same thing, same macro numbers as a Big Mac, all right? So response is not what we're looking for. So the response, what we're looking for is something that falls in line with maybe here. Okay, so carbs, protein, very little fat. Okay, so high carbs, high protein, high fat. This is what we talk about as our high day. Okay, or our another option would be low carbohydrate, protein intake is low, and fat is high. This is what we would consider to be our no day. So once again, no meaning no starch carbs. Okay, so these are the two options that we want to choose from, opposed to this up here. All right, now the key and the difference here, a lot of times you guys have seen diets where it's high protein intake, all right, but there's very little fat that's ingested. Okay, so the importance of the no day is to make sure the fat is there. Fat is for brain function, to give you energy and sustain energy throughout the day. So anytime you're on a no day and you're feeling bogged down a little bit, it's probably because your caloric intake is too low, or your fat intake is probably not where it needs to be. All right, of course, in our high days, our carb intake is higher, so our energy levels should be a little bit higher typically on that. Now, some people respond bad to the high days, and some people respond bad to the no days. So I've got a cycle that I've developed for all of you guys, but as you guys go through this, you need to adjust and change this. Before you make any adjustments, please check with me. Don't check with your mentor right away. Okay, check with me, have you and your mentor and I all discuss it and make sure that the adjustment that you're going to make is appropriate for you. Okay? So that is kind of the different pieces there that we're looking at. All right, so now what does my cycle look like, Grant? Where do I go from there? Okay, that's what the next video is going to tell you on what you need to do.